Marian Anderson is a true icon of our great city of Philadelphia. It started out with a dream, a young lady who wanted to use her voice to reach the highest of heights during a time when she was denied that right because of the color of her skin to even get a higher education in the city in which she was born. It would take for Marian Anderson to be sent to Europe to be able to get that higher education experience in music and performance, for her to only come back to Philadelphia to be appreciated a bit more. It was that particular voice that would wake up a nation on April 9th, 1939, at the steps of the Lincoln Memorial when Marian Anderson was invited there. She used that particular platform that she had during that time to make a difference through her voice and her music.
Ave Maria. In this space, singing in this museum, every time I step in here, I know that it is a great, big, huge part of the Philadelphia history, but it's also a huge part of the African American history, African American women in opera history. I haven't had a chance to hear her sing live. I remember listening to her recordings. My dad was a huge opera buff, so growing up, he would play a lot of Marian Anderson recordings. And hearing her voice and how it emoted, how she felt, I felt that I wanted to do that. I wanted to create those same sounds and hopefully reach people the same way.
It's been an incredible honor to be involved in this program honoring Marian Anderson. Although I'm very sorry to say that I never got to hear her sing in person, I had an incredible experience. She narrated Copland's Lincoln Portrait with us, the Philadelphia Orchestra, several times. And one time when we did it in Saratoga, the conductor was, of all people, Aaron Copland himself, and I had the great honor, privilege to play the piano rehearsal. So here in a room was Marian Anderson, Aaron Copland, and myself, and we played, and she was just a wonderful, delightful person.
Fritz Kreisler and Marian Anderson had the same accompanist, Franz Rupp. Of course, they each played with others, but I really liked that connection. And this being a Beethoven year, the Kreisler Rondino on the theme of Beethoven seemed like a nice way to recognize that.
They change the exhibitor every year at the Marian Anderson Museum, so the visitor always has something new and wonderful to see of Marian Anderson's life. The beautiful programs that we're so proud of, as well as the exceptional gowns and costuming that Marian had throughout the decades, is completely priceless. It is quite remarkable that Marian Anderson had such a plethora of amazing talent that she called dear friends, and they all had their opportunity to come here to this wonderful home and visit Marian. The time of Jim Crow in the United States, even in our great city of Philadelphia, there was legalized segregation, and African Americans could not get open table seatings at the restaurants in Center City, Philadelphia, nor could they get lodging at the hotels in the Center City area. Therefore, Marian Anderson opened up her home to these wonderful friends that she had. Duke Ellington, Cab Calloway, Count Basie, Ella Fitzgerald, Lena Horne, Maria Callas. They had the wonderful moment here to be able to listen to our beloved founder, Lady Blanche Burton Lyles, as a child play for them on the beautiful Steinway piano downstairs. And they, too, had their opportunity to perform on that lovely instrument.
I first of all became aware of Marian Anderson at the age of 10. The sound of her voice just immediately hit a very responsive chord with me. It was an astonishing range. Everything that she sang, every note, every word that she sang was just so full of meaning. She was one of the most intensely personal, moving, virtually everything she sang went straight into your heart, and she was one of the very few musicians that could do that.
The Burleigh piece was chosen for a couple of reasons, and one is that that of course he was a good friend of Marian Anderson, and he spent time in her home. Her recitals almost always included one or more arrangements of his of gospel songs.
The COVID-19 pandemic has hit everyone hard, not only in our city of Philadelphia, but across the nation. And it has hit the National Marian Anderson Museum doubly hard, combined with the fact that we have suffered a major emergency flood due to a pipe bursting in the lower level of this historic and older home built in 1857. Because of that, we have sustained massive damage with 3.5 feet of standing water to the tune of over $40,000. We are hopeful that there are those out there in Philadelphia and across the nation that are willing to remember the sacrifices of Marian Anderson's life and how much she cared for others and helped others across the nation and around the world, and that at this time you would be willing to help Marian in her home as we try to survive, repair, and replace to keep Marian Anderson's legacy alive and the history going on for generations to come. Won't you help us? Won't you stand with us? Won't you be a part of the repair and restoration of this great historical and musical legacy?